What up, what up, what up? What up, what up, what up? What's up, guys? Yeah, I know, they're off to a rough start. What's up, guys? It's Christian and Andrew. Episode 40. This is a big one. Did you realize we're at 40 already?
Yeah, I think we had mentioned it before.
That's crazy. So, we thought on episode 40 we would get a real logo and, you know, give a shit. So, we got someone to do a logo that did a fantastic job, I think.
I mean,
I liked it.
We're both happy.
Yeah, we're both happy about it. So, that's cool. And also we have a podcast sponsor. Did you know this, Andrew?
No.
Yeah. This episode is sponsored by Puberty because we're going, you guessed it, to 8th grade.
Oh.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Was it good?
Not really.
The delivery was pretty terrible, right?
Well, I
thought it was clever, but yeah, no, I could see how the delivery kind of didn't quite work out.
It's fine.
Anyway, we're gonna go see 8th grade by some Bo Schmo, comedian who
just some random ass guy.
Just some random ass guy
Someone
who spent
threw
the
money at him.
last 3 years of his life working on this movie about coming of age. Wow, I haven't seen a movie about this in a while.
I don't know if it's exactly about coming of age. What I was reading is more about dealing with anxiety.
It's anxieties and insecurities, and we're in 8th grade, so everything is difficult.
Man, you sound a little condescending.
I'm a little, you know what? I feel like the last film that we saw that really dealt with this coming of age was Lady Bird.
Yeah, and how did that work out?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
There you go.
And you know what? This one's probably going to be pretty good too, but like, another part of me is like, you know what? Everyone's kind of doing the coming of age thing right now.
Are they?
It's just that, yeah. Look, I mean, let's think through this, right? We got Stranger Things. We got Riverdale. We got like, I don't know.
I don't know if I would say Riverdale is that. Riverdale is like a soap opera, like teen BS type of thing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like we've been doing the coming of age thing for a long time.
The coming of age thing has just always been a thing.
I guess it's always been a thing.
We just saw Skyscraper, and that was a boring-ass, bland-ass thing we've seen a million times.
Wrong.
Zero original ideas. So if we're gonna
That's true.
So if we're gonna talk about it.
Hey, he held up a bridge. I mean, how many people can do that, huh?
With one leg.
With one, yeah. Supporting himself on one leg. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Yeah, that was a funny movie. I liked it though because it just reminded me of like other movies.
That's not a good thing.
I know. Like as it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, you know what? That's maybe not like the greatest indicator, but you know what? Because of that, it was a good movie. I don't care what they say. But yeah, we're here in the car on our way to a different theater because I guess this isn't showing in all the mains. This is kind of like a.
Well, I mean, it's showing in some of them, just none of them.
Is it like a
around
soft
us.
Release?
I mean, kind of. That's how these indie movies work. They get like a little more.
It's an indie movie. It was Sundance, right? Film festival.
Yeah, I mean, it
was
released a few weeks ago here in Los Angeles and New York. We always get stuff first.
Yeah, I guess we're lucky like that.
So I think as the summer rolls around a little more, it will keep getting more and more publicity. It seems like everyone really likes this movie, and it seems to be doing well financially, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think it will be available to more viewers.
Yeah. Yeah. So, honestly, man, like, I really wish I were more enthused about this idea, but I feel like, I don't know. For me right now, this whole coming of age thing just feels a little overplayed. Like, just for me, like, just in the content I've been consuming, like, personally,
okay,
right? Like in the shows I've been watching and whatever else, like I'm kind of over it.
Okay.
But you know, what are your thoughts going into this?
Well, this is like a movie I picked, basically.
Yeah, so I assume you want to see it.
You allowed me to choose, which I was surprised. It was that or Equalizer 2, and you were just
well. I mean, there's an obvious choice.
I mean, for most people, they would have seen Equalizer 2.
The last time I liked seeing Denzel Washington in a movie was in Game Night. Remember they do that whole like cut to.
But he's not. But he's not. He's not in it.
No, he is. They have that one scene where he's at the car. Remember, it's like oh yeah, it was him, and like blah blah blah, and then she shows the photo, and it's like not him. Sorry to spoil that movie if you haven't already seen it.
I don't remember if he was actually.
They have a whole montage, dude.
But he's not in that. That's not him in the montage.
That's him in the montage.
I bet you $10 it's not him.
We're not. No, it's him.
It's really not.
It really is.
No, it's like the cheap ass lookalike. As I watched that movie, I was thinking that doesn't.
No way.
Yeah, it's not him.
I don't believe you.
Okay, whatever.
I would look it up. I literally went to my computer right now, guys, to try and look this up, and then I realized we're in a car and I can't do that.
We'll look it up post in the mid break. How about that?
Fine.
Intermission of this podcast.
Fine. I hate the fact that you're probably going to be right about this, but I feel like I'm right.
I don't think so.
And so therefore I need to be heard. And you should listen to me and care about how I feel about being right.
But by the way, can I tell you where you're wrong? I mean, maybe you can't. You're not wrong about you not wanting to see Denzel. But since we're recording this on Sunday night, most of the numbers for the weekend have been
really high for that movie.
Yes, it's the biggest movie this weekend.
Well, I mean, yeah. What else released?
Mamma Mia.
Okay, that's actually a little surprising.
It is actually a little
I can't
surprising.
get mad at that. Like, I want to just be, like, and that, I just believe that's a testament to my character, is when I'm wrong, I'll at least sort of almost admit it. I'll almost admit it. I won't give you all of it, but,
You get a little begrudgingly
I'll be like, okay, well, that should have been a big movie. I guess people knew it was going to be bad this second time around. But yeah, anyway.
So let's talk about 8th grade.
Equalizer 2. Ugh.
Yeah, so I picked 8th grade. The reason I picked 8th grade is because who made this movie?
Bo Schmo the Ho.
Yeah, Bo Burnham.
The comedy ho.
Yeah, Bo Burnham. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
good.
I mean, we watched one of his specials a couple weeks ago or whatever, because I told you about this movie, and you're like, oh, I never seen him, and I think he's done a few specials. I've seen those. He made some show for MTV, probably like 5 years ago or something, that got canceled after a year.
Yeah, go figure.
Which I never saw. But from everything I've seen from this guy and everything I've heard from interviews and all that stuff, he seems like a very creative person. I've liked all the content that he's made that I've seen.
Yeah.
And he seems like somebody that tries to do different things.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
And so I very much appreciate somebody who does that, who tries to like push themselves as an entertainer, as a creator, and try to use their talents in different ways and just doing the same thing over and over and over again.
Well, yeah, and I think that's like actually what he does well, right? So like, and we don't need to spend too much time on this, but like right now, it's 2018, right? And so every comedian is talking about the presidency.
Yeah.
Like every single fucking one. And it's kind of always the same way, like, what the hell is the state of our country? Like that's essentially how that conversation goes with all the comedians. That's fine. What I like about him is he still like addresses things and clearly has like his view of things and his interpretation, and like it agrees with the general public, but his display of it is so avant-garde and different. Like the fact that he's doing like theater at a stand-up show, like it was just the most interesting thing to see. Like and like even how his sense of melody and like making fun of Kanye and having like Kanye's melody, like sense of melody, and like figuring out, okay, how does he like sort of phrase things and how does he, like that was just really smart, and I like, it was uncomfortable for me to watch only because like it was so different from the typical format.
Yeah.
And I wasn't expecting his delivery of what he was saying. But I really appreciated that he clearly he's someone who goes the extra mile to think of, how do I deliver this thing in a creative way? Not just in a funny way, but like in a creative and funny way.
Yeah.
Like that's next level to me.
No, I completely agree. And again, those are the things I look for when it comes to movies. Is one of the big questions I ask, or things I look into, is who's making or who's helming this project, or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And if it's somebody I think that's creative, that very much piques my interest. And almost the subject matter is almost
irrelevant,
inconsequential at that point.
Yeah.
Like he could have been making any other movie, and I probably would have just been like, oh, unless it was something insanely
bad,
weird, or something I just had zero interest in at all, like something that just pushed me away, I was gonna be interested in whatever it was.
Well, it's you know what, he's one of those guys where you may not like it, and I think it's kind of hard not to like it, but you may not like it, but you can't deny that he's talented.
Oh, absolutely.
Whereas there's some people, like, you can deny whether or not they're talented, like Paul Blart.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know that he's super, but he clearly is. Like, King of Queens was a great show. Like, I mean, he clearly has talent. But,
yeah.
But my point is, he kind of does the one thing,
Exactly,
whereas this guy, it's just like, whoa, this is its own. He kind of created his own category.
Well,
in a weird way.
And it would have been easy for him to do another like comedy special very similar to the last one he did and have it be wildly successful.
Yeah.
Because he has like a following.
Right. But to push the envelope.
But to do something different, I very much commend that, and it's nice to see.
Yeah, and so so that is whoa. Don't take out the Prius, man. Don't take it out.
I gotta go.
I get it. We gotta get to this movie. But I guess that is the one thing that sort of, I just said, like, I've been consuming a lot of content that involves like the coming of age theme, and so for me, I'm just kind of like burnt out on it. But I'm sure I should say I hope that he delivers this in as interesting and as surprising of a way as he has lately with his other content. Like, I'm just hoping that's the case.
Yeah. No.
Hoping that it's really different.
I don't know exactly what to expect. I've tried not to read too much into what has been said about the movie. I know it has positive reviews and people are, having like a buzz around it, basically.
Yeah.
But mostly I was like, when we were looking up stuff for this, I was just looking at what he was saying about the movie itself and kind of where he was coming from trying to make it. So, I mean, he had some...
And you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, he had some interesting points in terms of...
Okay.
And one of the things I think I heard you watching is there's, like, different versions of ourselves that we put on as a performer. And he's talked about this before in other work he's done where he's performing and that's what he knows.
Yeah.
And I think in that way, he relates to kids today because that's what a lot of our generation is with social media and making vlogs and all this stuff. We're kind of performing for each other in a way.
Right.
And so he felt like he related to that in a lot of ways of kind of always being...
And creating it really for yourself because you need it. Like, I mean, that's kind of what was talked about is like this girl, she, does these vlogs and whatnot talking about self-confidence and all that stuff, but really like she's the one who needs these things.
Yeah.
And that's like, at least that's, the extent of what I heard about it. But that's kind of an interesting concept, and I feel like that's actually super true. And, I think introverts do like formalities, like a podcast, right?
Yeah, sure.
Or like a vlog to sort of express that.
Yeah,
and
like
scratch that itch, so to speak.
Yeah, and feel like you can be yourself.
Yeah, because you can't really do it in other scenarios. You can at least control this one, right?
Well,
there's a level of control.
Yeah. At the same time, there's a barrier between you and whoever's watching or listening to whatever you're showing because you can't really get a sense of who someone is without actually being around them a lot. So people show their best side or what they want you to see when they're in that much control over what you're seeing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's funny because like I even like thinking about this, like getting sort of, I guess, personal with it. I find myself like in certain groups of people, I'll be super talkative and super extroverted. In other groups, I totally won't.
Yeah.
I'll say next to nothing, right? And I think you kind of do that too.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Like remember we were hanging out with friends the other day, and like you were so quiet, dude.
Dude, I was.
But like when it's you and me, or like you, me, and Steve.
Yeah.
Like it's just constant. It's just like it doesn't stop. It's constant.
I know I'm that way anyway.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a reserved person, and it just takes me a little while to like get more comfortable with people.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people aren't like that. I know some people can just like right off the bat just open up or are just more social in a way.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's just people are different. But again, you know, the way we present ourselves is always different than who we are in a vacuum, in terms of like one interaction or just one video or one listen or whatever it is. And we are all kind of just on some level selling ourselves to everyone.
Well, it's interesting too, like they talk a lot about this in, you know, this master's program I'm doing, like as far as like senses of reality, and like there's how other people see you versus how you see you, and like they talk about in terms of like things you view about yourself and maybe view incorrectly about yourself as opposed to how other people view you, as like cognitive, they call them cognitive distortions. Like you see yourself a certain way, but that's not actually how you come off. It's not actually like your character doesn't map to that, but you still kind of see yourself that way, you know? Like for example, like with this girl, like I don't even know if this is true in the movie, but it just makes me think about that. You know, she could be like feel super insecure and whatnot, but she comes off to everyone as confident, and so therefore she's seen as confident, you know? Now that's probably not the case in this movie, but my point, it's still interesting to kind of think like it's all sort of true and it's all sort of not at the same time.
No, I agree, and coming back to
like identity is relative.
Absolutely. It's depending on what you've seen of that person.
Totally.
Because you can't know what's actually going on in their head.
Yeah.
And to tie that all kind of back to Bo, I know he's said that before, where, you know, people see him as this person when he's performing, and that's not who he is as a person.
Totally.
That's just not.
That's a show.
That's a show. That he's kind of playing a character, and I think you have to put some of yourself into it, but it's really, you can never really put your full self into something like that and just be 100% genuine. That's not how it works.
Well, yeah, I'm guessing he's actually a super introverted person.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Most likely, I believe so.
And that's like his outlet, and like that totally makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess the more we talk about it, the more I'm like not as dragging my feet.
That's good.
On seeing this movie.
See, I'm warming you up to it.
I guess we'll see.
So I think we're almost there.
Are we?
We're getting there. We got to get off the freeway, and then we'll be there. But you got anything else you want to say before we close this out?
As far as predictions,
I thought
I think I got a couple. I got really one prediction.
Okay, go ahead.
2 predictions. Lots of anxiety. 2 A's. Anxiety and acne. I figure I'm going to see a lot of both of those in this movie. I think I'm going to be right on that.
Okay.
You?
See, my prediction was for you, was that you were just going to come out of this movie and say, nothing happened, this was boring.
Well, we'll see.
That was my prediction for you.
Maybe that's what I'll start it with if that's how I feel. We'll roll the intro and I'll be like, nothing happened, this was boring. No. So that's your only prediction? Sole prediction?
That's all I got.
Do you think I'm going to be like, give it a 4?
Well, now you're warming up to it, but before
like, what do you think I'm going to rate this as?
I don't know. I'm going to let you, you can't do your 7, so I'm going to guess.
I can't do 7.
I'm going to
1 through 10, no 7.
I'll guess 8. That's my guess for you.
8? You think I'm going to give this an 8?
Sure.
All right. We'll see about that 8.
You're a nice guy.
That's why I like Skyscraper.
Yeah, see?
And Jurassic World.
Yeah, see?
Yeah. If you guys haven't checked out those episodes, Jurassic World, don't. But check out Skyscraper because Mike is in it. And
this is true.
Shout out to Mike. Mike's always great to have around. I feel like I'm always inspired by him. Like, he just works so freaking hard.
Except he did go on a vacation right after right after we did that podcast.
Whatever. But really, I think about Mike probably once a week, like on the days that I'm tired. I'm like, well, Mike's not sleeping.
So Mike's up.
Mike's working. He's out working me. And I'm young, like shoot, I gotta step up my game. I'm still in my 20s. I got no excuse. So anyway, thanks Mike if you're listening. But I think that's it. I think this is Christian Andrew first reaction, the first part of the reaction to 8th grade. I feel pretty good with parking it here. You?
Yeah.
All right. We will catch you after the movie.
Backing up.
Is that what you're gonna do?
Back it up.
What's up, guys? It's Christian Andrew. A little Andrew.
Oh man, you fit into this movie now.
Dang, I really, that was rough. The whole like intros have just like not been in my favor today. I don't know what it is.
It's honestly perfect for this podcast, for this movie.
Hey guys, make sure to like and subscribe to us on Apple and Anchor and wherever else you might be listening to this podcast. Yeah, because I'd really like that, and I think Andrew would too, right? Andrew.
I think that would be something cool, because it's cool to listen to things and support people that you like. So
yeah. Okay, I'm done. All right, guys, we're back. We just saw 8th grade, and man, I was just anxious the entire movie. I was just like, ugh. Also, some first thoughts. I was right as far as my predictions. 1, that's important. 2, I was wrong about Denzel Washington, which I'm upset about, but we kind of knew that was going to happen. 3, the feeling was, and then Gabe's kind of cool, and then I hated that scene in the car.
I mean, you're supposed to.
And you'll know, yeah, but like, I knew it was so, I just knew where it was going right away, and I just hated it, and I hated everything about it, and it was just really bad. It was really, really bad. But yeah, I mean, what would you think, Andrew?
Well, I think
sorry, what are you talking?
So for anyone that doesn't know what we're doing, just watch the movie. You'll understand.
Yeah, just watch it.
I liked it a lot. I don't think it's a great movie.
Really?
I don't think it's great.
Oh, I did.
I liked it a lot, though.
I thought it was really good.
Well, I think it's really good. Again, but it's like an all like.
Well, name a great movie to me that's in like a similar genre.
Similar genre?
If you say Lady Bird, I'm gonna be pissed.
I like Lady Bird more. But
really?
Yeah, I have some. I'll explain why a little more.
Okay, all right.
This movie.
For those of you, real quick, for those of you who haven't seen Lady Bird, these are in very similar veins of a girl coming of age, dealing with natural things that kind of come with that, puberty and the like. Dealing with adjustments with friends, all those sorts of normal things. These movies have 2 very different takes on the same things, but
similar concepts.
But similar concepts. So, go ahead, Andrew.
This movie kind of just it feels like a collection of feelings that you get while you're growing up.
Yeah.
And it's trying to present those feelings the best way it can through different like scenarios and just different things that happen in her life.
Yeah.
It's a very like introspective movie.
Yeah.
Where it's very focused on her, even to the point of like things happening around her, not really like it almost like breaks reality because that's how like she sees things. And camera placement too, where it's very focused on her. It's a lot of the world just from her eyes.
Yeah.
Which I'm not saying is a bad thing. It's just different.
Yeah. I agree.
Am I not allowed to make a left out of here?
No, you can't, because that sign says no left.
That's what I thought. All right. Well.
Yeah. Well, we can't have it all. Although that chocolate bash looks cool. What is that?
I don't know.
I might be going there one day. Yeah, I kind of liked it for that reason.
No, I think it depicts what it's trying to depict, like, very accurately.
Yeah.
Watch out, there's a U-turn.
This is so illegal. You heard it here first. Skirt.
So yeah, it depicts what I think kids feel like at that age.
Well, that was great. Like I have to interrupt at this point because I was so shocked. Like, I really felt like our audience, like the audience members, really as a whole connected with that. And it's weird because I feel like I had such a great high school experience. And I didn't feel like I was super popular. I mean, I don't know. Like, maybe I was known, but I didn't feel like a popular kid. But I just didn't have, like, a terrible high school experience. And it's amazing how many people, like, I know either felt like they did or felt like they were popular, but inside they felt absolutely terrible the entire time.
Uh-huh.
And I just didn't feel that way. Like, I mean, middle school was, like, a little, like I wasn't crazy about middle school. But none of it was terrible.
Yeah.
The hardest thing was the school, if anything. It was freaking Spanish 3 or whatever it was. Like, that was the hard part.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I never had a bad experience with that.
Yeah.
I never really cared about, I think, a lot of stuff that most people did. I was very just kind of...
But did you feel that in the room? Like, that people really seem to connect with
no,
that,
I think it did. And I connected with a lot of, like, the feelings that you have of, like, insecurity and how you see yourself. I mean, we talked about that a little bit before going into it, that...
There's your reality and perception of reality.
Yeah, and what's actually going on, or the argument to be made of what's more important, or what you see yourself as compared to what somebody else sees you as.
Yeah, for sure.
And so this movie does a good job of showing that, especially, and showing, you know, her progression through... It's not that long. It's like a week, right? But it shows her kind of growing and changing, and it kind of shows... I don't want to say the kids are dumb, but it just shows, like, what they focus on more, what they feel like is very important to them in their view.
Yeah.
And
how you see it now as an adult.
And how you can see it now, exactly. And I can relate to some of those things. I don't know if I was exactly like them, but I think everyone who was a kid at some point thought things were more important than they actually were when they were happening.
Like the guy with the eyes.
Yeah.
Like, did anyone else pay attention to his belly button?
Oh, yeah.
Or was that just completely...
No,
like, were we just not going to talk about that?
I saw that. I was just like, oh, his nasty-ass belly button?
Yeah. It was, like, dead or something. It was...
I don't know.
It was weird. That was a weird situation going on there.
But I do think it did... Like I said, I do think it did a good job depicting all those things.
Yeah.
And it did feel like a real world in a way. Like, it felt connected to us, and it didn't feel like some person trying to make a point about the younger generation without having, like, actual knowledge or understanding of what they are. Yeah.
There was empathy.
Exactly.
I felt she, like... I didn't really like... I mean, there were a couple scenes where it's like, okay, this isn't believable. Like, throwing a banana at your dad. Like, that was just like, come on.
There's some weird stuff.
I mean, has your sister ever done that?
I mean, we're not really like that.
Exactly. I don't think most sisters have done that. Like, my sister's never done that. Mm-hmm. You know?
But I think I understand. I think maybe it goes a little too far, but the point it's trying to make of, like, being flustered and just, like, angst. Just this angst of, like, you trying to figure out who you are, and your parents are trying to be there for you, but it's like that's the last thing you want.
You know what's really amazing? Like, we talk about this movie, and we don't really talk about the actress behind this, but, like, that's because she did such a good job.
Oh, she was amazing.
Yeah, I think she did a really good job, like, capturing the feeling. Like, her body language sold a lot of it. Like, there were a lot of shots, like, from, like, just looking like you're walking right behind her almost. I don't know what that vantage point is called, but, like, you can just sort of see how her shoulders are slumping over, and, you know, like... You know, it's like the self-esteem is made very clear, you know, and how she puts her hair and her shoulders and, like, the body. She just did a really good job with, like, this, like, she really got the subtleties.
Absolutely.
And I think she did a really good job with that.
I mean, she's kind of has to carry the movie because she's the only.
She's it.
She really is the whole movie, pretty much.
It's like her and her dad. I think this is a great, like, dad-daughter movie.
The dad was really good.
Don't you think it's like a good daddy-daughter movie, though?
Yeah.
Like, for all the dads out there who listen to our podcast, which I'm sure they're like, what, 0? Like, this would be like an interesting movie to take your daughter to. Be forewarned, there are some uncomfortable scenes in it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it doesn't focus too much on that where it's like beating you over the head with it, but it gives you enough.
He's always there. He's always there, though. I mean, like, in every scene. The mall. I mean, like,
not every scene in terms of
dreams.
The dreams.
Burning the dreams.
Oh.
Like, all of it. This will all make sense when you watch the movie.
He's there for, like, very important moments.
He's always there. He's always walking in, like, when she's about to do something awkward.
I mean,
he checks in with her every night. I mean, like, he's in a lot of this movie.
No,
dude.
He's in it. He definitely is. But again, like, if she doesn't make it work and you don't believe her, the movie doesn't work as a whole.
I gotta say, though, it's kind of weird because... I don't know. Like, I guess where I sort of struggled to connect, but I think a lot of people will connect with this, is I didn't feel like I had parents who ever tried to be my friend. as much as I felt like he tried. And this isn't like a shot at it necessarily, but I found like that's where I disconnected when he was like talking about how, she makes him strong. It was just like, what?
I mean, I just
that. I just couldn't connect with that, I guess. But like, I can understand it sort of.
And something, I mean, that might just be a movie thing, to
try and like. It's good for TV.
And try and explain a feeling while not. I mean, you don't have enough time to kind of show that over time, so
sure, yeah.
You may need to kind of have that big like speech or whatever you want to call it, that moment of connection between the two of them, because a lot of the movies just like them disconnecting and breakdowns of communication,
right?
Which is, that's a thing when you're younger. You're trying to figure out everything pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I really do. It's funny, I was talking to a friend about this the other day. Like, I really feel like that season of your life is just so hard like just emotionally taxing.
Yeah.
Compared to, at least, I'm 25, so I don't have like a lifetime of experience under my belt, and so I don't want to speak too soon on it, but honestly, like, life has gotten so much easier since then. Like, just in terms of like, you're just more stable, you don't have to deal with acne in the same way.
And you kind of come into your own is the thing.
Yeah, you just sort of figure out who you are.
It's not that you have everything figured out, but
no.
It's just that you feel like you know yourself better. That's my experience, at least.
Yeah.
Is that's like a big period in your life where you're trying to figure out who you are and who you want to be. And
did you go through that process much? I always feel like you've kind of been pretty consistent.
I mean, for the most part.
I mean, where is that like actually played out for you? Like, I'm curious.
Like at what age, or?
Yeah, I mean, like what were the thoughts and the feelings?
It's mostly just the stuff I do in general now, where it's just like, why do I feel a certain way? Why do I do what I do? And why do I believe what I believe, really? But those are just the questions that I've asked as long as I can remember. I mean, not when I was a little kid, but as teenager and older, those are things I've always kind of tried to make sure that I know why I'm doing what I'm doing and what I'm trying to do and get accomplished at the end of the day.
Huh. Interesting.
But that's just me. One thing I do want to note is, I don't want to say this movie doesn't have a plot, but it's not a negative, it's just like a little different in that there's not really a through line. There is kind of like a message at the end of the movie and like a progression of her character, but the joke I made was like nothing really happens, and nothing really does. It's not like anything. I
totally disagree.
Okay.
Wholeheartedly disagree with that.
Because for me,
so explain your position.
For me,
and
it felt more like scenarios next to each other, but not necessarily completely like a through.
We're back.
Okay, so the writing process.
You just had to hit that bump, didn't you?
Listen, it's a bumpy road. Thank the 405.
Yeah, thanks 405.
So,
this is where our tax dollars are going.
Yeah,
it's still bumpy. Anyway,
so the way my brain processes this movie is there's a bunch of different beats and points it wants to hit and feelings it wants to get you to experience, and I don't want to say it was done poorly, but it just didn't feel like a through line to me. It just kind of felt like this is this part, and this is when she experienced this, and this is
That's
this
interesting.
part, and then she experienced this. And again, it does kind of try, and it does, I think, pretty well tie up at the end of a progression of what she's gone through. But at the same time, it never felt like it was building. That's the thing.
See, I felt like it totally was.
Okay, that's fair.
So my perspective on it was everything was building. She had a week to become who it is she wanted to be, or at least realign herself and get herself in that direction of what she had hoped to be at the beginning of middle school. And in the last week, she's faced with a lot of adversity, having to do a lot of being in a lot of anxious situations, having a guy hit on her, trying to get guys' attention, having to go to a pool party, having older friends, hanging out at a mall, being invited to something for the first time, and and then addressing when she's been treated wrongly.
Yeah.
And that happens more toward the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give too much away here, but I think all of that is her becoming who she wants to be going into high school. And who she always thought she would be at the end of high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like she was kind of all the things that she was doing, all these experiences were building, like she was building herself, and how she handled that all mattered. And I feel like it came to a head at the end, especially with like her last video that we at least hear. You know what I mean? So I guess that was my like.
No,
I felt like it all, like she had a week, like the common thread is, you know, she has a week, and this is, you know, she gets this thing that talks about like a video to herself talking about, you know, who she thought she would be or wanted to be or whatever, and then who she actually became.
So you want to know? I just realized I passed. I'm going to my house right now, not your house.
Well,
I missed the freeway.
That's pretty funny.
We were so into this, and I'm just like, oh,
oops.
Well, we're gonna have a little longer of a drive.
That's fine.
So
do you see what I mean, though?
No, I do. And thinking about it more, I think it does a good job in this.
Like, what plot would you like? Explain to me like what plot wasn't there? Because to me, it's her becoming herself. Like that's the story. That's the plot. That's the movie.
Yeah. It seems like part of me wants to think that it takes longer than a week to, like, if you don't know what's going on with yourself.
Totally. I agree.
And so, but the way I look at it right now, as you were kind of saying it, and my brain is piecing it together more and more, is it's kind of just like a breakthrough. And that's
really what it is.
And that's what it's building up to.
It's self-actualization. She finally became.
It's like a breakthrough in yourself, and you never really finish that in life. There's no, like, because that's what movies in a lot of ways are like, it's a culmination of what's happened in the movie, and it builds to this, like, climax. But that's not really how life is, and especially when you're working on things within yourself.
Yeah.
It's just another step. It's like you took a step up on a staircase, but you never really reach the top of the staircase because there's no way to really there's no way to stop working on yourself, basically.
Well, that's the whole thing, man, is I really think like that. A breakthrough is a really good way to put it. And you know what happens, though? Like, breakthroughs are moments. And she had a series of moments that kind of built up. And she had, like, a lot of, I don't want to call them triggers. I'm trying to think of, like, the right word. And I can't catch it right now. Mm-hmm. But she just had a lot of opportunities that sort of, you know, germinated into her becoming who she wanted to be.
Yeah.
And this whole movie is her trying to do that and trying to navigate, you know, and I don't know, that's why I thought it was really good. And frankly, that's the same thing as Lady Bird. That is the exact same.
I'll be honest, we've been talking for maybe 10 minutes, 15-ish almost, and I'm liking it the more I think about this movie.
Right?
I am.
Here's what I like about it. Like, Lady Bird was so fast paced, it was almost kind of hard to watch because it was like so sudden, like the cuts.
It was cut.
This was still like, it was very indie, and it still like had its own like unique character, and like even like the color saturation and like that kind of like it feels different, but it was still comfortable to watch, even though it was like very uncomfortable in a lot of moments. It was cringeworthy a lot of the time.
I agree, and I have to say, for someone who's never made a movie before, this is a fantastic first effort.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he hit it out of the park.
Yes.
So, I do really enjoy this movie. So, I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Yeah, I'm upset that I'm gonna have to give it more than an 8. Like, you know, but at the same time, like, it totally deserves it. Like, who am I to stand in its way?
So the one other thing I just remembered, I think I might have seen like a little blurb or something about it, and I think I remember someone saying that have you ever seen the episode of The Office where Michael Scott goes and he promised like a group of kids,
all the kids, that if he would pay for their tuition.
Someone described this movie as that. They're just like, it's that episode of I think this is called Scott's Tots, but it's a movie, and it really is in terms of like how cringy and awkward you feel watching it, completely intentionally, and obviously to capture how those kids are feeling at that point in their lives. But yeah, you just squirm almost the whole movie, right?
Yeah, I mean the whole thing.
And sometimes in a bad way, like not just like awkward, like, oh, this is turning like this
dark.
This
is going dark. There's a moment where it gets really dark,
where
and
it doesn't. It's not like anything explicit or
nothing happens.
It's not graphic or anything, but it's just you just tense and you just know where it's gonna head.
It's almost worse. It's like Jaws. You don't see the shark, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's kind of what happens with this movie. Is like you just sort of see the direction it's building in, at certain moments. But man, he did such a good job. Like, and I kind of want to spend more time on this because I feel like a lot of movies, they sort of say what they are, right? It's like, I'm this character and I'm sad because this person did this to me. And this was all show, don't tell.
Completely.
It was constant, like, showing you the feeling until you felt it.
Yeah.
And I was amazed at how quickly he could create a scenario and direct a scenario that would get me to feel it that quickly. Like it was... Yeah. I could synthesize that, it happened. It just manifests inside you, and there's nothing you can do about it, and it's almost immediate.
I agree.
And sometimes you almost predict, you can predict it, and that's when it's not even happening yet, and you already are starting to feel it, as if you're her. Like, it was such a good, I don't know where he found this actress, but she killed it. And obviously, it was well written. The directing was good. It was all so good, and I think it's really important that kids see breakthroughs and stuff like that. There's a lot of things in this movie I don't want kids to see, but
I would be fascinated to. I know my experience, but especially someone who's around that age today to watch this movie, and I would wonder
what their take is.
Yeah, how accurate they feel like that is, or just how much they relate to it. How much do they feel like, yeah, that's a lot of the stuff I'm going through.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the stuff that I feel like is happening in my life right now.
It was crazy. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she was talking to her friend's younger brother. They were just having a conversation about what friendships look like. And he's this really up-tempo kid, clearly. And she recorded it. She was like, "Is it cool if I record this?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." Just because she could just tell it was going in a direction,
Okay.
He's probably about her age, 8th grade, beginning of a high school, that sort of age. And they're talking about things. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know, I just don't really feel like my friends are there for me. They're there when I'm having fun and that kind of stuff." But and he goes from him being this really happy kid to diving a little deeper into the stresses and anxieties that come with being that age. And I guess maybe I'm just lucky, but I just never had that experience. I always had real friends.
Yeah.
I had real friends, and it's a bummer to know that that is so many other, that's clearly by the audience's reaction, a lot of people had that experience, that the social pressure thing. And granted, I think we all deal with anxiety and whatnot, but yeah, it was really interesting to hear this kid sort of unpack that, and a lot of what he said reminded me of this movie, in terms of how she was dealing with those feelings and the karaoke scene, that especially. Yeah. I don't know why, but that really triggered this snippet of 11 minutes of audio that my friend sent me. It was just really interesting. I really do think it's a great movie. It makes me uncomfortable. It's not a movie that you can eat. You can't just fold laundry and watch this movie.
No.
This is an event. This is an experience. It's not a normal movie, kind of how a stand-up isn't normal.
Yeah.
And even the music is the music reminded me of him a lot.
He didn't make it.
It's very brash and bold.
It has a
sound to it. And
it's very unique, and it has a purpose. There's a very specific purpose to this music. It's not to just fill air.
Yeah, which is nice.
Yeah, there's always a point to it.
Yeah.
So, you got a rating for us?
Yeah, I do. And I have so much hesitancy giving it this rating because it feels weird. But I think it deserves it, and I'm not trying to just fluff the movie up, but I really think it deserves a 10. For the kind of movie, for being an indie film talking about this, a coming of age indie film, addressing it in this sort of an awkward, I'm a teenager going through puberty sort of way. I think it gets a 10. I think it's a perfect movie, and yet Like, the reason it gets the 10 is it didn't just do like an excellent job, it did an excellent and yet unique job, in my opinion. So I have to give it a 10. I have no option. And I hate giving things perfect ratings.
I mean, is
Like,
that the first one that you've given?
That's the first 10 I've ever given. Like, and I'm not even like the biggest fan. Like, I wouldn't watch the movie again. Like, I probably won't watch it again. But I feel like this movie, for the genre it falls in, for how it addresses everything, for the unique approach and direction and music and acting, I mean, I can't not give it a 10. Like, it's just that good. And, you know, I mean, good is so relative and so subjective, and so that's why I'm prefacing it with like the genre and everything that it falls, the categories that it, you know, would align with. It just, there was nothing weird about it. It was just the perfect movie. And Gabe was just great, especially toward the end. Anyway, you, any thoughts?
I don't have like a specific weird rating.
Are you gonna give it a normal rating?
No.
Okay, of course, can't do that.
This movie doesn't deserve a normal rating.
It's Andrew. Can't give it a normal rating.
This movie doesn't deserve that. It deserves better.
Okay.
Which I can't really give to it right now, to be honest. I'm failing.
I mean, is your rating, whatever it is it equivalent to a 10, or is it like more like a 9.7 or like a 9 or like a 8?
It's like right. It's like right there. Honestly, I can't really yet. I mean, I have to like. This is a movie I feel like I need to think about a little more.
Like, you're gonna think about this tomorrow, right?
Oh, absolutely. I think
this will cross your mind.
I think it's a movie that is technically well done, well shot, fantastically written. The acting is superb.
It didn't feel like it was written. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, it did. Like, no one wrote it. That's what it feels like. It just feels very real
and natural.
Super. Like, God, that's I can't get over like how incredibly natural it feels. And I'm not even that age, but I can see all of that happening. Like, very believable.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what's it going to be, Andrew? What are we going to do?
Don't go watch Equalizer 2. Go watch this movie.
Okay.
That's my biggest recommendation for that. Thank you.
Very practical.
I'm going to thank you because we're seeing this movie because you didn't want to see Equalizer 2. Not that I really wanted to, but... And I would have gone to see this movie anyway. We may have not done a podcast on it. But I asked you if you wanted to see Equalizer 2, and you're just like, no, I'm not going to go see Denzel. I do not care about him.
No, it wasn't him. I like Denzel. I don't like the plot of that movie. It just looks boring.
Yeah, it looks generic, right?
And you know what? I kind of hate, like, this is where I kind of hate myself a little bit. But you know when he jokes with that guy and he's like, I'm a secret agent, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he's in, like, those clothes.
Yeah, he looks like
an
old man.
That's actually what bothered me about it.
Oh, that was that scene?
That was the breaking point. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I'm like, you know what? If he's gonna show up to this movie and dress like that, I'm not in. I'm out. I'm out. And I know that's like so stupid, but like I really do care about the aesthetic. And like if you got creepo looking mustaches, and you know, an Argo, which was a good movie, which I hate to say.
It was.
Or you know, you're dressed like an old man who sits and plays checkers in the park. I'm not really interested in watching it. Also, I didn't. Yeah, it just looked like it sucked.
I get you.
But yeah.
So one last thing I will say to add to my rating.
Okay.
I can say right now, again, like as I sit here and let this movie process, I like it more and more.
Yeah.
It's definitely one of my favorite movies I've seen this year. Is definitely up there at this point in my brain.
Would you watch it again? It's one of those kind of things you consume it once. Like, I don't know that the second time would be. I don't know that it works that way.
I'm not sure.
I imagine it like you know, I don't do this, but I imagine it like the first time you take like drugs, like a real drug. Like you're never gonna get that experience again. You know, like that's kind of how I feel. This movie is like a great one shot. I don't know that you would want to watch it twice. Like that might kind of ruin the magic of it.
I mean, it may not be it's definitely not the most.
It would be like meeting Bono in real life. It's like, yeah, I don't know. He's a superstar. Like I kind of want to keep him there and the magic of that. I don't know that I want to go and see it again or go behind the curtain.
No, I understand what
you know
you're
what I mean?
saying. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But go watch this movie if you have the opportunity. Hopefully it gets out to you wherever you are and you have the chance to see it because it is very good.
Yeah, and this is the first reaction, and you should like and subscribe to our podcast. We're on YouTube now. Or I guess we're not yet.
We're working on it.
We're working on it.
We have a channel.
We got a channel. We got an Instagram handle, which we'll figure out at some point. I'm letting them know coming attractions. We're gonna see a couple other movies that I'm really excited about. We saw Sicario 1, which means we're gonna see Sicario 2.
Are we doing a podcast on
I don't
that?
know. We may not.
We'll see how we're feeling that day.
Regardless, guys, we're gonna see it, and so you may hear about it, you may not, and if you do, great. If you don't, sucks to be you. I want to see that McQueen movie.
Okay.
So bad. For those of you who are in the fashion, well, I'll go see this movie for you, and I'll let you know if it's worth it. But I really respect that designer and what he did. So yeah, I'm trying to think. What's the next big movie we're going to see though?
It's Mission Impossible.
Oh really?
That's this week.
Dude, I've never seen a Mission Impossible.
I know. It'll be a fun experience.
Do I need to see the other ones?
I don't think. I mean, I have a bunch of them.
I want to see him break his leg. Is that messed up of me? That's pretty messed up, right?
We'll talk. We'll have to get
that's
into
messed
that.
up.
He already did. So
I like that I know that.
Yeah.
I'm slowly becoming there's a little movie buff in me that's growing.
Do you hope
it's like it's getting watered every week and it's gonna grow into a giant apple tree one day?
Do you hope that the take that they used for whatever scene that was the one where his leg actually broke?
Does he do that? Is that what they did? Is that a fun trivia fact?
I don't know.
How do you not know that, Andrew?
I don't know what scene it was for.
I'm shocked because I feel like you would know something like that.
I don't look into specifics, like what scene was he trying to do.
Really? I'm pretty sure you do keep a lot of information like that stored in your head.
I could find out, but whatever. We'll see.
Yeah. Also, we're going to go see The Commuter 2. I'm just kidding.
Oh my goodness.
It's not a thing. And 15/18 to Paris. No, that movie sucked ass. Don't watch it. Yeah. I mean, you know what? This is a great movie. I don't really know how to end this because I just want it to keep going forever because it's such a good movie and I just want to keep giving it praise.
And this is a long podcast.
This might be one of our longest episodes in a while.
So,
and it mostly has to do with how much driving we had to do.
Yeah, but we had a lot to say.
We had a lot, yeah. And this movie actually touched on something deeper than skyscraper, I mean, what are you gonna say about that? Besides all the other disaster movies from the 70s it reminds us of.
I mean, did you think about Skyscraper the next day very much? I didn't.
I did actually.
I didn't.
I thought about it.
I
thought that I hadn't. Here's what I thought about. I hadn't seen a movie like that in a long time.
Okay.
Where it's just there's a disaster, it closes, and then it ends.
Okay.
There's usually some happy resolution, and they didn't do that. It's just he walks away from it, and that's it.
Okay.
And I was like, that's an interesting dissolve out. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I thought about it a little bit. I kind of, what I'm starting to feel like. I know you're kind of over this and you're ready to go, but I get it. But The Rock, Dwayne's movies, they're all kind of one movie. It's really just different. It's last month in Dwayne's life.
It's the adventures, yeah.
Yeah. Last month in Dwayne's life, there were wolves and alligators, and this month, it's a burning,
And next month he's racing cars.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's always it's just. He's just so cool. And I know his numbers are probably going down, but he's just so cool. Anyway, episode 40. 8th grade. That's what the movie was called. I wasn't sure. First reaction, I know that part.
Good job.
Christian Andrew. We out this bitch. Later.